Dear soul, pause for a moment and breathe deeply, for the angels are drawing near to your heart. They want you to feel their gentle presence because something important has been revealed. Last night, something sacred stirred within the heart of someone who holds you deeply in their spirit. It was not random, not just a fleeting emotion, but a truth that had been quietly resting beneath the surface for a long time. They had kept it hidden, not because they did not feel it, but because they were afraid of how strong the connection was, confused by what it meant, and uncertain if it was safe to allow it to grow. But last night, the silence broke. In the stillness of their spirit, the veil lifted, and the truth they had been holding back began to shine through like the first light of dawn after a long and restless night. This stirring was not only about emotion, it was about intention. It was the realization that you are not just a passing thought in their life. You are not just someone they admire from afar. You are someone who feels like home to them, someone who brings them peace, grounding, and the kind of love that is steady and safe. For so long, they tried to distract themselves from this truth. They told themselves it was too good to be real, that such a connection was impossible, or that maybe the timing was wrong. Yet, despite their attempts to look away, their soul always returned to you. Last night, they could no longer deny what their heart already knew. The angels want you to understand that what happened was a moment of awakening. It was like a seed that had always been planted in their soul finally beginning to sprout. That seed has now broken through the soil, reaching toward the light. They may not yet have the words to express it out loud, but their energy has shifted. Their soul has spoken, even if their lips remain quiet a little longer. And you, dear one, may have already felt this change in your own spirit, a sense of calm, a sudden wave of peace, or even an unusual longing that came to you without explanation. These are not coincidences. These are spiritual ripples moving from their heart to yours, signs of the deep bond that exists between you. The truth is this: you are a symbol of new beginnings for them. You are not just someone who touches their heart lightly. You are someone who awakens in them the desire to grow, to build, and to begin a new chapter. They see you as someone who can bring richness not only emotionally, but spiritually. They feel that your presence is a gift, something heaven itself has placed into their life with great purpose. This is not just fantasy. This is real possibility, a readiness that is beginning to bloom inside them. For so long, their confusion and fear blocked them from seeing clearly. They carried past wounds and doubts that made them hold back. But something shifted last night. They are now beginning to see you not through fear, but through the eyes of hope. Their heart is slowly opening, like a garden that has just been watered after a long drought. What once felt like silence has now turned into movement. What once felt hidden is now rising into light. They are realizing that love is not only about sparks and fireworks. Love is also about safety, devotion, and the feeling of truly belonging. And to them, you feel like home. The angels remind you, dear soul, not to chase or push. You are not being asked to prove your worth or to beg for love. You are simply being asked to hold space for this beautiful unfolding. Just as a seed takes time to grow into a flower, this connection is taking its time to find its roots. The universe is aligning everything behind the scenes, even if you cannot see it yet. Do not be fooled by silence or the absence of words. The energy has shifted, and it is moving forward. Their heart is opening, and they are beginning to prepare themselves for a love that is real and lasting. Perhaps they are remembering past conversations with you, replaying moments when they felt most alive in your presence. Perhaps they are wondering how you've managed to remain so patient, so steady, and so kind despite everything. Your quiet strength is something they deeply treasure now. They are beginning to recognize that true love is not about drama or fear. It is about trust, peace, and belonging. And you, dear one, embody all of these things for them. Last night, they experienced something they can no longer deny. The awareness that destiny has been guiding them toward you. For a long time, they thought they were choosing their own path, making their own decisions. But the truth that has now risen is that every turn, every delay, and every struggle has still brought their heart back to you. No matter how much they resisted, the connection has always remained. This realization is not just about romance. It is about purpose. It is about their soul remembering something that was written long before time began. The angels reveal that this stirring within them is not fleeting. It is not something that will fade tomorrow. It is the beginning of a sacred chapter. They are starting to see you as part of their journey in a way that goes beyond the ordinary. They now recognize the synchronicities, the dreams, the feelings they could never quite explain, all of which pointed back to you. And last night, instead of running from these truths, they finally sat with them. In doing so, their heart opened like a flower in bloom. This awakening is like the turning of a wheel. Suddenly, what was once unclear is now becoming undeniable. They may have felt a sudden rush of memories, a sudden ache in their chest, or even an urge to reach out to you. Even if they have not yet acted on these feelings, the shift has already happened inside. The door that was once closed has now opened, and the flow of energy between your souls is moving forward. What they once feared has now become the only thing that feels true. Dear one, the angels want you to rest in this knowing. You have not been forgotten. You have not been overlooked. You are not waiting in vain. You are the answered prayer that is now being recognized. You are the joy they never thought they could have, the peace they thought was too fragile to hold on to. And last night, they finally allowed themselves to believe that it is possible. This is not the kind of love that needs to be forced. It is not rushed or hollow. It is whole and divinely timed. The angels are wrapping you in golden light now, filling your heart with patience and peace. They want you to trust the unfolding, to believe in the process, and to know that everything is being guided by a higher hand. You do not need to question your worth. You do not need to fear being left behind. What is meant for you is already moving towards you. This person's awakening has begun, and it is sacred. They now see you as the one who brings them the deepest sense of joy and calm. You are not just someone who brightens their days. You are the one who makes them feel whole. Your presence is like sunlight to them, steady and warm, something they no longer wish to resist. Last night, in the quiet of their thoughts, they finally embraced this truth, and though it may take time for them to express it, their heart has already spoken. So, dear soul, let your heart rest. Trust what you have felt. Believe in what the angels have revealed. Something sacred has awakened, and it will continue to grow. You are not invisible. You are not forgotten, and you are not alone. You are chosen, loved, and longed for. The seed has been planted, the wheel has turned, and the truth can no longer be hidden. You are part of a divine love that is finally beginning to rise into the light, a sacred awakening in their heart. Dear child, the angels are asking you to listen with an open heart, because what happened last night within your person's soul was quiet, yet deeply powerful. It wasn't a loud confession or a sudden outburst of emotion. Instead, it was a gentle inner stirring, a sacred moment of reflection that took root in the silence. For the first time in a long while, this person could no longer brush aside the truth of what they feel for you. Their spirit slowed down, and in that stillness, they began looking back at everything you've shared together. Every glance, every word, every presence you've held in their life. And in that reflection, something began to shift. They realized that your connection was never just a passing moment. It was never a temporary phase to be forgotten. No, dear one, what they saw last night was that your presence in their life has been like a seed planted long ago, quietly growing roots even when they tried to deny it. For so long, they may have looked away, distracted themselves, or buried the feelings deep down. But now they are seeing clearly that the bond you've built has been slowly growing all along. And last night, it blossomed in a way they could not ignore. Seeing your worth, the angels say that what truly stirred within them was recognition, not just of what you have given, but of who you are. They remembered your patience when they were distant. They felt the warmth of your love when they could not even express what they were going through. They saw the ways you stayed steady when their world was uncertain. And in those memories, they began to realize that you have been their constant, like the gentle sun that rises every morning without fail. For the first time, they began to see you not just as someone who entered their life, but as someone who stayed, someone who invested, someone who believed even when belief was hard to hold. That recognition softened something in them. Their heart, once guarded by fear and confusion, began to open under the weight of this truth, that your love was never empty, never shallow, never fleeting. It was patient, real, enduring, and still alive. A new phase begins. This awakening, the angels say, was not the end. It was the beginning of a new phase. Last night, for the first time, they began to ask themselves new questions. Not just, what do I feel? But what am I willing to give? What am I willing to build? They are realizing that real love is not only passion and excitement, but consistency, effort, and quiet growth. For so long they may have thought that time alone would give them answers, but now they see that time without intention means nothing. And last night, the seed of intention began to form in their heart. They are beginning to feel the call to show up differently, not because they are being pressured, but because their heart is finally ready to match the love that has already been freely offered. They may not rush to conclusions, but they are reflecting deeply, and the truth rising within them is clear. They do not want to lose what has been quietly, beautifully built between you. Heaven's witness, the angels want you to know that none of your effort has been wasted. Every silent prayer, every tear you shed in private, every moment you stayed when you could have walked away, it has all been witnessed. It has all mattered. Your love has not been invisible. It has been shaping them in unseen ways. And now it is beginning to bear fruit. Though they may not yet know how to express all that they feel, the shift has happened. The awakening has begun. And what their soul is beginning to whisper is simple yet profound. This love matters. You matter. What we share matters. The foundation of real love. They are beginning to see now that you are not just someone who passed through their life. You are not just a memory or a fleeting chapter. You are becoming the foundation. You are the anchor they never realized they needed, the safe place their heart longs for. Last night, in their stillness, they felt it. This connection feels like home, not the kind of home filled with chaos or uncertainty, but the kind of home that brings peace, grounding, and comfort. For the first time, They are realizing that love does not need to be dramatic to be real. Love can be gentle, steady, and still carry depths they had never imagined. A rare and sacred love. The angels say that your love is rare. It is sacred. It has not demanded. It has not forced. It has simply shown up, steady and warm. And this person is beginning to see the value of that love in ways they never did before. They are realizing that this is not just affection. It is trust. It is safety. It is the deep soul knowing that this kind of love heals and sustains. They may not yet have the words for all of this, but their heart is learning. Slowly, they are beginning to see you as the quiet miracle in their life. While they chased distractions or tried to bury their emotions, you remained a steady light. And now, that light is what is guiding them back. Emotional accountability. What stirred in them last night was not only love, it was also accountability. For the first time, they began asking themselves difficult questions. Have I honored what we share? Have I given as much as I've received? Have I taken their love for granted? And though those questions were painful, they were necessary, because in answering them, they began to realize just how much your presence has shaped their soul. This reflection is awakening emotional maturity within them. They are starting to see you not through the lens of fear or fantasy, but with clarity, and what they see humbles them. They see someone who loved without conditions, who gave without guarantees, and who waited with grace. And now they are asking themselves if they are ready to meet this love with the same depth. Divine timing. The angels remind you that this awakening will not be rushed. What they are feeling now is tender, sacred, and still unfolding. The shift is real, but it must grow at its own pace. Trust the timing. Heaven is at work behind the scenes, weaving healing and creating space for this love to bloom fully. You are not forgotten. You are not unseen. You are remembered in the deepest part of their soul, and that memory is becoming too strong to ignore. Every day, they are being drawn back to the truth of this bond, the promise of what's to come. This love is not over. In fact, it is only beginning to show its true strength. The angels say that what stirred last night was not fleeting. It was foundational. It was the kind of realization that grows roots and becomes unshakable. They are beginning to see you as not just part of their story, but as the story itself. The truth is simple. They don't want to imagine life without you anymore. And though the journey may still take time, their heart is moving closer with each quiet reflection, with each moment of honesty, with each new awakening. You are seen, dear one. The angels want to close with this. Your worth has never depended on their recognition, yet now that they see it, it shines even brighter. You are luminous. You are the constant that has softened their guarded heart. You are the one their soul has always been leading them toward. Trust what is unfolding. Trust the quiet shifts. Trust that the love you have given is finally being recognized for what it is: pure, healing, and real. What stirred in their heart last night was sacred, and from here, it will only grow.